Today, I've decided to do things differently. After almost a years of video telling you about life here at the cabin, it's time for a more personal conversation. A confession, I would say. One of those hard conversations we'll all have with ourselves sometimes, and those that help us face our demons. And I also think it's a chance you'll get to know me a bit more personally. So I won't be just a weird girl talking from the Alps about chopping wood and slow living. I'll be a friend telling you about myself. There's no script, there's no lines to follow, it's just me telling you the truth about how I got here, why, and what I've been running from. A few tears and a lot of hope. So sit down, grab a coffee or some tea, and join me for a walk back in time. And make sure you stick with me till the end, because I'm sure what I'll admit will surprise you, as well as resonate deeply. If you're new to the channel, hi and welcome. My name is Antonella, and to start the story, we have to jump back to January 2017. I was unemployed with no money, and I was going to have a life-changing surgery, which I couldn't afford at the time. Before being unemployed, I worked in a bank for quite a while, and was a 8 to 5 job in an office. Sometimes I would work as a cashier, and it had all the things that you can ask for a good job: benefits, I get paid, holidays, and well, I could have had a sort of career as well in there. But I hated it. I just hated it. I remember sitting the times I was working at the bank window, and I would be sitting behind my glass, and there would be this nice and old kind lady that would come and ask me to help her get some money from her bank account. So I would check in the bank account and see that there was no money to withdraw. So I would have to refuse her, and she would plead me because she had to do grocery. And it was just, I just couldn't handle it. I was heartbreaking, and it would happen so many times. I was working in a very tiny branch in a tiny town, and there would come single moms with kids, or some old widower that needed to get some money for food or some reparation or whatever. And I just had to, scrutinize their private life, check and tell them, no, I'm sorry, you have no money in here. And I always felt like I had to put my hands in my bag and give them some spare change from my bag. And I know that's not how the world works, but it was just not for me. I would work every day, get a smile on my face, go and say hi to all my colleagues, and enjoy with them the day, the lunch break, and I would talk about life and whatever. And deep inside I was just crushed. But you couldn't really tell, right? Because I was just pretending that everything was fine, but the things that I would do would not align with the person I think I am. And so after a few months of reflection, I took a decision. They called me one morning to offer me a different position, an upgrade in the job level. And I said no, thank you. And I walked away. And I disappointed so many people at that point, my family, my bosses. Everybody was looking at me why is she doing it? Is she crazy? What's wrong with her? And even if I was sure of my choice, because I knew it was not right for me, because that job was eating me up, I could see that some of those opinions they had of me was seeping through what I was feeling and thinking about myself, and it was not fun because I was questioning my choices. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this because I don't like it, but it's just me. Maybe I'm the wrong one. And I was, try to understand if what I was doing was just wrong and maybe I was too sensitive. And I always think of that moment, like those sliding door moments that you see like in movies. And I always wonder what would have happened if instead I said yes and kept on working there. Because after that no, so many things changed in my life. In a couple of weeks, I started feeling some pain in my left leg. It was just getting worse and worse, and I couldn't really figure out what was it. And then I started getting pain medication, like big, strong pain medication, because I couldn't sleep, I couldn't lay down, I couldn't sit, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't function. And so I went to see a neurosurgeon, and he told me, without like even worrying about how he phrased it, he told me, if you don't get under surgery in like 2 months, you're gonna lose the use of your left leg, like you're gonna not be able to walk anymore. And I was crushed. It was just, I'm sorry. It was just too much. It was really bad because he said it like, well, yeah, so what's the problem? You get an operation and it's done. But it was really expensive, and I had to figure out how to manage because I just had left my job, right? So there was no money to spare, or at least not that kind of money, because it was really an expensive thing. And so I just swallowed my pride and went to my family and asked them if they could help, and of course they did, and they were very supportive of this. But on the other hand, I could see like in their eyes this kind of judging thing. They were thinking, if you wouldn't have left the job, now you wouldn't have this problem with covering the operation. So it was really hard on me. And 2 months after he told me I wouldn't walk if I wouldn't get the surgery, I was in the operating room. And I was seeing like my whole life, and I was like questioning my choices and wondering what tomorrow would bring. And when I woke up, I just realized like, okay, now it's uphill. We have to get back to the top. And they told me that would take like about 3 months just to do the basic recovery, and that meant 3 months in the bed. I couldn't walk, I couldn't shower, I couldn't do anything. I shaved my head because I was like with like the Marines. I just took the machine and I shaved my head because I couldn't really just not even take a shower because I couldn't stand. And after those 3 months, the doctor said, okay, now you can do like 5 minutes walking and then 2 hours laying down. And the pain that was supposed to go away wouldn't really disappear. It really subsided. It was not as the beginning, but it was not going away, and I could still feel like a numbness in my foot, and I couldn't really, make it function properly. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And I talked to the doctor, and he told me that I had some fragments right before the operation that went up my spine, and they severed the nerve. And although they cleaned up everything and they made the whole thing okay, they can really fix the problem with the nerve. So maybe in time I would get better, but for sure I wouldn't get like 100% back to what I was. And it was all up to me, like how much you're gonna do, how much exercises, how much you're gonna invest of your time and all of that. And it was life-changing because I was a yoga teacher, I was in trail running, and I couldn't even walk. I'm like, all right, this is all black and impossible. And I would stare at my running shoes and slowly realizing, okay, I'm not gonna run again. I'm really sorry. It's just that it is still something that I struggle with it today. Okay, we're gonna cut this part. I would like look at these shoes and realizing that things have changed, and I had to accept who I was then. But it wasn't really that easy, because it's like you see yourself the day before and then you say, okay, I'm gonna recover now. And then you see that, yeah, you are recovering, but you're not gonna get back to what it was before. And so it was just devastating. I had to somehow recalibrate my brain, like, okay, let's think this over. I need to understand that things are different now, but it doesn't mean that they have to be bad. Like, I'm walking, right? I'm not gonna be running again, but I am walking, so that should be something to be happy about. And I was, but I really felt depressed about what was happening to me, and everybody was worried at home, right? They would look at me and ask me if I was okay. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm fine, everything is all right, I will be back to what I was, and no worries, I'm strong. And inside I was just, okay, I don't feel even like to get up from the bed in the morning, because what is life gonna be for me? And so it took a long time, and it was really a hard road. And I know I'm not, I was not having like any like life-threatening disease. It was not a cancer or maybe something that maybe could justify my feelings, but the thing that I've lost a part of myself was really just hard to accept. And I realized I needed a reason to decide to get up, something that would motivate me to try to be maybe the person I was before. Maybe not exactly the same, but something close to it. And I found this cabin. And little did I know that it would change the course of my life. It was far, because it took 2 hours drive, and I would like barely be able to sit in the car for that long. Then it was a long walk in the forest, and I was not really stable on my foot yet. And then I came over here and I saw it, and I fell so much in love with this place, and it gave me so much hope that even if I knew that every weekend it would take 2 hours of suffering in the car, I would just get in the car and drive to the house and stay in the forest and listen to the birds and do all the works. And it was there was so much stuff to do. There was no water, no heating, no road to get to it. It was just a nightmare, I would say, for so many people. But to me, it was a new beginning. Like, okay, maybe I'm not gonna be the one that was climbing the mountains like I did before, but I can be close to the mountains. I can be close to nature. I can see the snow. I can see the forest. I can hear the birds. I can be somehow what I was before. Maybe not the same level, but I can be where I want. And I started to implement my lifestyle. I started to embrace slow living and simple living. I tried to understand that things have to be faced differently. And it was really a hard work, but it was worth it, because you could have like all of that beauty, all the nature around it, and it was really, really helpful to me. I come from a tiny town by the sea, and my daddy was a fisherman. Yes, I still call him my daddy, even if it's been like 30 years that he's died. And he would live in the sea and be always out with his boat. And but he loved so much the Dolomites and the Italian Alps that he managed to actually die there. He had an heart attack, but he was on the slopes, he was skiing. And so I guess it's just, some sort of, it's a DNA thing. I have it in my heart. And I think mountains where my hope would come back, or my hope would just flourish again. And so I embraced this change, and I think I fell in love with this forest and with this mountains and everything that surrounds it. There's a big river, then we have creeks, and there's so much to explore and so much to do around here, and it really, really helped. But the reason why I'm doing this video is to tell you that although especially in those first moments when my job was gone and when I got the surgery, and I thought I was such a failure, and I thought about my choices, and I really thought, okay, you see, you're always so cool about yourself. You always think you're the right one. You always think you're in the right position, and instead you did the worst thing. Your choices were so wrong. And even if that was right, and even if that was true, I embraced change, and I embraced difficulties, and I think we can all do that. It's just the way we face life, because there's always something that life throws at us. Sometimes we lose somebody we love, sometimes there's a disease, or we lose our job, the house, or everything. But the thing is that every single day that we walk on this earth, every single day that we walk on this earth, we have a chance to be who we want, to pick up the pieces and build something different, to make things better. And we always have the chance to change. So I think we should really embrace change. And even if it's hard, even if it's messy, even if we make a lot of mistakes. And I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I think I'm a walking mistake. I did so many wrong things, and probably the good things that I did in my life count in a few, maybe two hands. But one of those is finding a husband that always helped me pick up the pieces, having a kid that's always making me smile, finding this place. But especially the good things I did was picking myself up and kicking myself in the bum and say, okay, life is tough, get over it, and try to make it better, try to make it the life you want. And this is what I'm making this video, because I think we all deserve the life we want, and we can all make that life real, because it's just about following somehow your dreams, following what your instinct tells you. And even if in the moment, like it was for my job, even if that moment it seems, all right, maybe that was the wrong decision, in reality, it is the right decision if it is what you feel, but you have to feel it inside. Like you have to be conscious of what you feel, conscious of what you want. And you have to learn to ask. And like I'm asking you right now, I'm asking you shamelessly to please put a like on this video, because editing is something I embraced because I wanted to make my life more challenging. I wanted a challenge because after everything got settled, like in all people's lives, when things settle and your life start going again in the right direction, you feel everything is alright, you need challenges in your life because you need to grow. And for me, this was editing or making a video, because I'm the shyest person in the world, and I just hate it when just people make a compliment to me, or even, you know, talk to me if I don't know them, because I would just go like flashing red. So it's not really my thing. But for me, talking in front of a camera without feeling an idiot, and decided to start editing, which I knew nothing about it, is just a challenge, and it makes me grow, and it makes me be a better person, and it makes me use my brain, and I can just get better at things. But to grow and to make more videos, I need the support of the people that listen to what I ramble about. So I will not just be the crazy girl talking about simple and slow living and forest. And I need the support of the people who are just like me. And I know you all are like just like me, because I know you all had failures, you all made mistakes, and that's okay. We do that, and we pick ourselves up, and we'll try to go on, because life is hard and it's a challenge, but it's just worth living, and it's worth fighting for. So just, you know, try to remember that whenever your life seems really like, okay, this is just black and I don't want to get up from the bed, there's always going to be a tomorrow. There's always room for change. There's always room for change. You can always get better. And I really think we should just invest more in our dreams, even if they're small, and even if there are small changes, but just following them. And I would love to hear all of you telling me, what were your sliding doors moments, or when did you get to the point when you realized, okay, at that point I should have done this, or at that point I understood I had to do that thing. Because if we share, we can all grow together, and there would be so much more that we can talk about. So I would love to, have your stories and see them as examples of how strong we can all be. And I really loved this conversation, and it was really hard for me somehow, but on the other side it was really a pleasure, because it was making you feel a part of me that not many people get to see. So it's sort of exposing myself, and it was a confession. It was, because I felt at moments in my life that I was just wrong, and now I can say I was not, because I'm here and life just keeps on getting better. So I really hope to see you again around. And if you're curious about seeing what we do around here, have a look at the videos. And until next time, take care. Ciao.